Once upon a time, in a land where the sun kissed the treetops and the rivers sang lullabies, there was a village nestled in the heart of an enchanted forest. This was no ordinary forest. Its trees whispered secrets, its flowers glowed softly at night, and its creatures spoke in riddles. The villagers, though accustomed to the magic around them, always spoke of one place with great awe, the Grove of Wishes. The Grove of Wishes was a hidden glen deep within the forest, said to be home to a magical tree that granted one wish to anyone with a pure heart. But finding the grove was no easy feat. It was protected by a maze of illusions, and only those who truly believed in their heart's deepest desire could find their way. In this village lived a young girl named Ilara. Ilara was known for her kindness and bravery. She cared for her ailing mother and always helped her neighbors with a smile. But her own greatest wish was to help her village flourish, as it had been struggling due to a prolonged drought. One day, as Ilara was tending her mother's garden, an old woman with a cloak of shimmering leaves appeared at her door. She introduced herself as the forest sage and spoke in a voice like the rustling of autumn leaves. "I have watched you, Ilara," the sage said, "and I know your heart's desire. You wish to see your village thrive once more. The Grove of Wishes holds the answer you seek. But be warned, finding it requires more than courage, it requires faith in what you cannot see." Determined, Ilara set out early the next morning. Guided by the sage's words, she entered the forest with nothing but a small bundle of provisions and her unwavering hope. She walked for hours, the forest growing denser around her, its shadows deepening as the sun climbed higher. Just as doubt began to creep in, she noticed a golden butterfly fluttering around her. It landed on a nearby bush and seemed to beckon her. Following it, Ilara came upon a shimmering path of moonlit stones that led her deeper into the forest. She walked carefully, her heart beating with anticipation. The path twisted and turned, and soon Ilara found herself at a fork in the road. One path was dark and thorny, while the other was lined with bright, blooming flowers. Remembering the sage's words, she chose the thorny path, trusting that her true wish would not come easily. After pushing through the thorns and navigating through a series of magical illusions, hallucinations of her fears and doubts, Ilara emerged into a glade bathed in silver moonlight. In the center stood the majestic tree of wishes, its leaves sparkling with the light of 1,000 stars. As she approached the tree, Ilara closed her eyes and made her wish, not for herself, but for her village. She wished for the return of the rains, for the fields to be lush and the rivers to flow once more. A gentle breeze swirled around her, and the tree's leaves rustled softly as if whispering a promise. Ilara felt a warmth in her heart, a reassuring presence that told her her wish had been heard. With a final glance at the magical tree, she turned and began her journey home. When Ilara arrived back in the village, she was greeted with astonished faces. Dark clouds had gathered above, and the first drops of rain began to fall. The villagers celebrated, for the drought had ended, and the land was soon blooming with life again. Ilara's wish had not only brought rain but also renewed hope and prosperity to the village. The people gathered around her, celebrating her bravery and selflessness. Her mother's health improved with the bountiful crops, and the village thrived as it never had before. And so, Ilara's story became a legend. It was said that the Grove of Wishes continued to stand in its enchanted glen, waiting for those with pure hearts to find it and make their wishes. The magical tree was never found by those seeking their own gain, but always by those who wished for the happiness and well-being of others. And thus, in a land where magic was as real as the sun and the stars, Ilara's tale lived on, a reminder that the truest wishes are those made for the greater good, and that belief in one's dreams can turn even the darkest forest into a path of light. And they all lived happily ever after.